Many of the people that gave to Jeb and to Hillary and to everybody else, they're friends of mine or enemies of mine, but they're people I know. These are not people that are doing it because they like the color of his hair, believe me. These are highly sophisticated killers. And when they give $5 million or $2 million or $1 million to Jeb, they have him just like a puppet. He'll do whatever they want. He is their puppet. Believe me.
Donald Trump calling out Jeb Bush, basically saying the former Florida governor is beholden to special interest. Now, Donald Trump has made several controversial comments that in this day and age of political correctness should have caused him a lot of problems. But instead, that blunt speech is propelling him to the top of the polls. However, his success is not welcome from all within the GOP. Some Republicans say he's not conservative enough and that he could lead the party down a slippery slope. For more, let's welcome in political commentator Michael Reagan. He is Skyping in from Los Angeles. You can also follow him on Twitter at Reagan World. Now, Michael, Donald Trump recently tried to silence criticism surrounding his conservatism by using your dad, President Ronald Reagan, as an example. He said, quote, he was like this great guy, and he was a Democrat with a liberal bent. And then he became a great conservative, in my opinion, and a great president and a great leader. Can Donald Trump follow the example and become a true conservative like President Ronald Reagan?
You know, if my dad were alive, what he would be saying is this: well, there they go. It's amazing how many of these people, including Donald Trump now, dropping my father's name to try and wrap them in the mantle of Ronald Reagan. Let me be honest, never going to happen with Donald Trump. You know, these people looking to wrap themselves in the mantle of Ronald Reagan are doing a disservice to themselves and a disservice to my father. Wrap yourself in your own mantle. Tell us who you are. And we're finding out a lot who Donald Trump is as he goes through this process here of working to get the nomination of this party. And I don't like and I don't appreciate the things he says about Jeb Bush or what he says about Governor Perry or anybody else. I want to hear what he's going to do, and when he tells us what he's going to do, I can be for or against it, as I was over the weekend watching the interviews on somebody who thinks they're actually going to step all over the 14th Amendment to the Constitution and give the birthright away to those who came here illegally and gave birth to their children. That is never going to happen.
Well, I want to take that up with you in just a second, because I think Section 5 of that amendment may offer something different. But basically, to the Trump situation and your dad, essentially, you believe Donald Trump is violating your dad's 11th commandment and therefore taking his memory in vain?
Let me tell you something. Violated my dad's 11th commandment. My God, it hasn't existed, Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment, at all with Donald Trump and the things that he's saying. And yes, he's using my father on one side, and on the other side, trashing everything my father, in fact, believed in. And so, no, I don't think Donald Trump wrapping himself in the Reagan mantle is going to help him at all, or it's going to help anybody at all. I wish Republicans would stop looking for Ronald Reagan and just look for a leader who can lead us out of this trouble that we're in, not only locally, statewide, and nationally, but also internationally.
But the notion is your dad cast such a long shadow that people look to him as the last conservative to really succeed. So maybe it's somewhat political opportunism, but I think it's also your dad's place in history. Now, let's get to the...
Let me tell you something. There's nobody I'm going to vote for because they remind me of my father. I'm going to vote for the person who I believe is capable of leading this country. And I am not going to vote for somebody because, they remind me of Dad.
Fair enough. Now, let me go to the 14th Amendment. Section 5, a single sentence. The Congress shall have power to enforce by appropriate legislation the provisions of this article. In other words, Congress can change this by statute. A president can propose those changes to Congress, could he not? 30 seconds.
He may want to propose those things, but let me tell you, there is not a court in the land that is going to overturn and step on the 14th Amendment to the Constitution with having to do with birthright in this country. It is just another one of those issues out there. I know there's people who say, oh, if we just get the illegals out, if we just get that birthright away, that somehow things are going to be better in America. That's not true. The problem in America is basically Americans.
Michael Reagan, we thank you for your insights, and as always, you can follow Michael Reagan at Reagan World on Twitter. Now, Newsmax wants to know, who is your candidate for the GOP nomination? Who's your favorite? Here's how you can let us know. Go to this website, newsmaxpolls.com. Once again, you can tell us who your favorite GOP candidate is by going to newsmaxpolls.com. And we'll be right back.